Hi there, this is Tom Lee. I'm the Chief Investment Officer of Fundstrat Capital and the lead portfolio manager for Fundstrat's U.S. Large Cap Granny Shots ETF. This is our update for the week of July 9th. Let me first start with some particulars. As of July 8th, the price was $22.57, net asset value of $22.56, and total assets of $1.556 billion. For the week, Granny Shots gained 0.85% compared to a 0.46% gain for the S&P 500, or a relative performance of 39 basis points. Year to date, Granny Shots is outperforming the S&P 500 by 644 basis points. I thought I would start with a quick word on macro July seasonals, which are positive, and I think you should just keep this in the back of your mind, that when we look at the first year of a presidency, these are the purple columns. July is actually the best single month of the year, with a median gain of 2.4%, and that's out of 24 years in this sample. And that compares to all years when the median gain for July is 1.6%, which is still one of the best months of the year. Now, if we plotted this as a composite of those 24 years in purple, you can see how the market generally plays out in the first year of a presidency, that we might make our peaks in August or so. And 2025 is tracking as follows in the red. And then this is July. But notice 2025 is tracking pretty closely to the composite. In fact, some people might say it's almost the same chart. And despite all of that, investors are still really cautious. We had a 28% rally from the lows after those tariff liberation lows. And if you compare to the other 28% rallies in the past 10 years, the 20-week AAII sentiment, which is the percent bulls less bears, is generally positive. But look at where we are today at minus 22. Investors have been staunchly and stubbornly bearish despite a 28% rally. And I think that's why we call this the most hated V-shaped rally. Okay, so let's look at stock performance over the past week. If we look at the top 5 performers, it's Oracle, Palantir, MicroStrategy, GE Vernova, and Arista Networks. So the contributors here are really basically AI names, and of course, Bitcoin, which is MicroStrategy. And it is why it is a granny shot. In terms of the bottom 5 performers, and they're posted here, leading or worst of these is FICO, and it has to do with Washington, D.C. We talked about this a couple of weeks ago, that Pulte, who is the head of FHFA, wants to reduce the reliance on companies like FICO and reduce the cost of actually getting a mortgage or even getting into a home. And so he's actually focusing on allowing people to use other methods, including either their rents or even something like a Vantage 4.0 score. Now, when this first happened in late May, you could see FICO fell 33%. And at that time, we said we'd give it a week, and the stock did manage to recover, but then it got hit again and it's down 20%. So, they do say fool me once, fool me twice. That's the problem here. And that's why we're kind of smarting and wondering what we should do with FICO. And especially when, as Tom Block says, when you're explaining, you are losing. But FICO is at support. So I'd say for now, we're going to keep our eye on this. But again, it doesn't make sense to fight City Hall. Now, in terms of styles, the best performing factor or theme for Granny Shots was energy and cybersecurity, led by Palantir. The second is the global labor supplier theme of Granny Shots. But again, it's a lot of AI-related names because global labor shortages really relates to AI. And then style tilt. And we had some leadership here, including MicroStrategy, etc. So that's it for now. Thanks for listening, and I'll speak to you soon.
돈 벌레게 불어나란 내